Who can resist a really good mac and cheese? Well, you don't have to worry about a good mac and cheese because this one is my best ever. There's just something about that oozy, cheesy dish that has universal appeal. So what makes mine a little bit different? Well, first of all, a lot of people will make mac and cheese from start to finish on the stovetop, but my best ever version is baked in the oven. How else am I going to get that perfectly crunchy golden top that everybody absolutely loves? Secondly, I love to throw in a few unexpected cheesy flavors, so stay tuned for my cheesy twists. Let's get into it. First, we have to do a tiny little bit of prep. Put the rack in your oven in its highest position and preheat it to 230 Celsius. Now, the position of the rack is important because the top of the oven is where all that heat congregates, right? And that's exactly what we want for our cheesy mac and cheese to have that gorgeous golden crust. Next, we're going to grease our baking dish with 1/4 of the butter. So a big baking dish like this, and you just get a little bit of that butter all around the bottom, even up the sides. This is going to make sure nothing sticks. Next, I take a little clove of garlic, cut it in half, and just stick it onto a fork, just like that. And then I rub that garlic all over the bottom of the dish. This way we're getting a hint of the flavor of the garlic without it being too strong. Next, we get a little bit of Parmesan cheese and just grate that all over the bottom of that dish as well. It's gonna stick to the butter, and that is what you should end up with. Now we're gonna pop in the milk and the cream into a medium-sized saucepan and place it over a medium heat. Now the trick here is not to bring it up to the point where it begins to simmer. That way you won't lose that beautiful velvety consistency that you're gonna get in your sauce. While we're waiting for that to happen, we're gonna melt the rest of our butter in a large saucepan over a medium to low heat. And once that butter starts to melt, we then add our flour. This is actually a French technique called making a roux. What you're looking for is a beautiful smooth paste. It only takes a couple of minutes and you're done. I'm gonna switch out my wooden spoon for my trusty whisk. Now what we do is we slowly add our milk and cream to our roux or our butter or flour mixture. And you'll see how quickly it starts to thicken. Once you get it thick like that, you add your second ladle of milk and cream. So just one ladle at a time, and it's important that you don't just dump all that milk in. You just wanna gently and slowly incorporate it, and you're gonna whisk it until it gets nice and smooth. I'm gonna add just a little salt. Once you're happy with the flavor and you're happy with the consistency, we turn the heat off, we leave this to the side, and guess what? That's the hardest part of this recipe done. The best part of my best ever mac and cheese is that crunchy golden topping. Everyone always wants more, and it's really easy. All you need to do is get yourself a medium-sized bowl and mix together some panko breadcrumbs into a little bit of melted butter. And I always make the flavor even richer with a little bit of Parmesan cheese, and we mix. Once that butter's nicely incorporated into the panko breadcrumbs, we can move on. On the stove, I've boiled a pot of salted water and added the pasta. Now you don't want to cook it as much as you would if you were serving it, say, with bolognese sauce. That's because it's going to keep cooking once you pop it into the oven. I'm going to strain it off. Now what you're looking for, just take out a piece to test it, and of course, bite it. It should be softened, but still really quite firm and lovely when you bite it. That is perfect. Now, today I'm going big on the cheese. Add aged cheddar, Colby, and blue cheese. And the reason I like to use blue, well, come on, it's got a real punch. It gives absolute wonderful flavor. So I drop that whole piece in, and then we mix that cheese through that perfectly hot sauce. Now what we've made is a bechamel sauce. Once you add your cheese, you turn that into a mornay sauce. We take our strained pasta, pour it in. I know, you think it's not gonna fit. I promise you it will. Switch out your whisk for a wooden spoon and just gently fold that pasta and cheese together. Look at that beautiful, cheesy deliciousness. Get that baking dish that you prepared earlier and gently tip all of that pasta mix in. My beautiful crunchy topping gets sprinkled and spread all the way, nice and evenly over the top. All right, it's time to put it in the oven. It should be nice and hot by now, all the way in the top. Dinner's gonna be ready in literally 10 minutes. So call the kids, get the table set, and get ready, because you're in for an absolute feast. It's been about 10 minutes. It smells incredible in here. I can't wait to see what's inside. Delicious, golden brown and crunchy on the top, bubbly and fantastic on the side. I mean, look at it. Now I like to serve it with a salad, but some nice crunchy dressed steamed veggies work really nicely too. All that's left to do is dish up. Oh yeah. That looks really good. And that's the reason it's my best ever. For more of my best ever recipes, head to the Coles YouTube channel or coles.com.au and check out my best ever recipe playlist.